So I'm gonna make this review a little bit shorter, no, a lot shorter, just because I'm currently editing the third episode of Bachelor in Paradise, and because I talked so long about Caelynn and Blake and their whole text message fiasco, my video was running kind of long. And I know y'all like long videos, so I'll try to keep it as long as I can, but baby, that one is probably the longest I've ever edited, and I was just like, oh no, we gotta make this one a quickie. So anyway, let's get into the rest of the mess. You know what I just realized watching this episode? Derek and Demi are Dylan and Skipper, but the third wheel is not a Lego, it's a woman. And I also noticed that Derek keeps on getting women that are not into him. Taylor, and I told you guys this in my Bachelor in Paradise review for last season, that I didn't think that Taylor was really into this guy. I thought that she was into Derek because he was convenient, and here we are. I may be getting a little rusty, but baby, when I'm on, I'm on. I was right about Derek and Taylor. Woo. So Demi is the real deal. I'm so thankful for that because like I said in my last review, I was a little concerned because she's a producer plant and she's also a TV ham. So I just wanted to make sure she was not playing this LGBTQ storyline because that's just not something to play with. Especially what's happening with the LGBTQ community and how they're fighting for, you know, basic human rights. I just don't think that that is something that people should play with for TV or for ratings. I believe her. I don't think that she's faking it. A lot of you guys confirmed it in the comments section. And it's honestly sad that I had to say that, but it happens. There was recently a girl who was a model who was faking being transgender because she thought that would get her more modeling gigs. People are crazy out here. So I just wanted to be sure she wasn't doing this for TV. You guys confirmed that for me, and I really believed her on this episode. Like, she was really struggling with this, and she was really opening up with how, you know, it was really hard for her to tell her parents that she's bisexual. You know what I mean? And even still, she hasn't yet labeled it because she's just trying to figure it out. She hasn't said bisexual, but she said fluid. And she said, I'm into men and I'm also into women. She hasn't really defined herself yet. And I think she's probably still coming to terms with it because she basically just came out on national TV and she's dealing with a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings. What I will say is the same thing that happened with Anya on the last episode with me, with her being vulnerable, is the same thing that happened with me with Demi. Demi is good TV, right? She gets on my nerves a lot of times because I just feel like she's trying to be funny. And just like Jordan, she comes up with these one-liners and these jokes that she thinks is really like, you know, really a zinger, but really it's just punching down. That's the thing. When you're not a comic and you step into that arena, you make yourself look stupid. Because if you're not a comedian, if this is not something that you do and you're just doing it because somebody told you was funny, baby, anybody can tell you that you're funny. The real test is that stage, okay? So I don't really rock with her with some of the jokes that she makes because I feel like a few people told her that she was funny and she just ran with it instead of actually testing her craft if she actually has one. But I will say this. This persona that she puts on, never for me, right? Y'all know she was my girl in the beginning because I thought her storyline was going to be so good for Colton's season. Sad to say, it really didn't play out. And she just fell into like this. The best way I can explain it is like a knockoff Stassi Stroder. Like Stassi from Vanderpump Rules, she does this thing where she's trying to be funny, but she's just being mean. And I feel like that's the same thing that's happening with Demi. People are telling her that she's funny, but it's not really funny. It's only funny to like terrible people. A lot of stuff that you are saying is just mean. You're just punching down. You're just being negative and nasty, and you're getting these confessionals not because they think what you're saying is funny, because it's just controversial. I guarantee you that Demi said a lot of stuff in Paradise, and the only stuff that they are allowing to stick is the stuff that people are going to talk about. The ageism jokes, the jokes about how people look, the jokes about people's mental status, like all of those things that will get the fandom in an uproar is what they're keeping in. She probably said some other stuff that was probably funny that probably hit, but it wasn't as controversial because this is a TV show and this is what they need to do. They need to get people talking. So I just wasn't here for this persona. But when she was talking about herself and what she was dealing with in her struggles, I felt like, for me, I met Demi. I really, really did, guys. And that Demi that I met, I want to know more about her. I want to see more of her. The same with Anya. I want to see who you are outside of this persona that you think Bachelor Nation wants to see. Who are you really? And I think we tapped in a little bit into Demi, and I just want to explore that person some more. I don't want the girl with the one-liners and, oh, grandma, take your pills. It's just, who are you, girl? Who are you? We saw a glimpse of her, and I love that. I want to see more. What do you guys think? Did you get more of Demi when she was being vulnerable, or are you here for that, zinger Demi? I'm not here for zinger Demi. I'm here for vulnerable Demi. That girl that we met when she was opening up to Katie, I want to see more of her. So I can't believe that I'm saying this, but Kevin gave me some clarity on the Blake situation, all the Blake drama, why the men have an issue with him. I know why the women have an issue. Because we can be a catty mess when we feel like it. Never wrong a woman. She will take you down, okay? As Blake is starting to find out with Caelynn. Anyway, Kevin made a statement that made sense, finally. He said that with Blake came in and he went after every woman. And I think because the women were receptive to him approaching them, the other guys backed off. And now it's kind of hard to get back in or even start when Blake has come in and just ransacked all of the women, to be quite honest with you. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense, because it's pretty much hard to pursue someone after somebody has already pursued them and they thought it was a sure thing. Because Blake was going after these girls like they were the only one, and then he would just move on. So after that, you have these women that are left with their minds just all over the place because this guy has played with their mind and their heart and all their emotions. And then as a guy, you got to come after that. And when you come in, you're probably repairing things and fixing things and then not trying to be Blake. Can't start at ground zero with these women because Blake has already come in and just put their minds in a blender. So I get what Kevin is saying, and I understand the Blake situation a little bit better. It doesn't look good for Blake. It also doesn't absolve Caelynn, but I get it now. I understand why they have such an issue with him, because I was just like, guys, what did Blake do to you? Now I get it. And now I also get why the women cannot stand Hannah. Because in my last review, in my review of episode 3, you guys know that I was just like, what is she doing wrong? Like, what is the big deal here? And now when Hannah revealed to Dylan that Blake not only came down to meet with her, she kissed him. First of all, I don't believe that she kissed Blake and walked away. Because even she didn't believe it when she said it. She was like, yeah, I just, and I kissed him and then I went home. Pause, because we're going to get into this hammer. You did not kiss him and just go home. You kissed him and you got that infamous Blake hammer. This is why Hannah's mind is so messed up. Poor Skipper. She done tasted that Lego super penis. And our girl is messed up. So that's what's happening with her. Blake, oh Jesus, Blake. Yes, you're grown, you're a single man, these are single women, you're making adult decisions, but you cannot have sex with everybody in your circle. Like, this is just messy. That's Blake's only issue. He is just being so messy and reckless with this super penis. Because, guys, that has to be it. That has to be it. I don't agree with Kevin saying that Blake was not good looking. He was like, I don't know why the women are so crazy about him. He's not that good looking. I think that Blake is cute, right? I also think that he's charming and he has the popularity in Bachelor Nation. He just has a lot of things about him that makes him attractive. But I also think it's his penis. We gotta call it something. The hammer. I'm gonna just keep on calling it the hammer. I just think it's this Blake hammer. That's what it is. It's so freaking good that it got all of Bachelor in Paradise in flames. And the men don't know what to do. Wow. Wow, Blake. Nah. I'm ready. Anyway, I get why Tay had an issue with Skipper, because she's like, look, me and you went through this whole season. We got to the end And Colton blindsided the both of us. They probably bonded and cried over this whole situation. Tay Tay is like, why would you do that to me? You know what I went through. I know what you went through. We bonded over this, and then you go and do the same thing to me. If you were already in something with Blake, why did you let me go out on a date with him? Why didn't you say anything? If we're friends, if we're girlfriends. Like, guys, not only are they like friends, they're roommates. So if you decide to live with somebody for 6 or so weeks in a tight-knit situation, you have to be in that situation with somebody that you are close to, that you want to be close to in this hot little bunk bed situation that you have going on. So I believe that Tay Tay was well within her right to confront Skipper about it. Here's where Skipper went wrong with me. Not only did she call Tay Tay a mean girl, she was saying that she felt like she attacked her. Girl, where? Where did Tay Tay attack you, Skipper? That's that victim stuff that I do not like. When you are wrong, you start going into this victim thing where people are attacking you and you feel attacked and you feel mean girl by Tay Tay. And you know, it's sad to say, some people will probably just believe it because Tay Tay has darker skin. You know, listen, I've been in this skin long enough. You're not going to tell me nothing different. You know how nice I have to be so that I'm not met with aggression? You have no idea. I'm sweet as pie, right? I turn it on extra, especially when I'm around strangers, because the stigma is that people with darker skin are just violent. And I'm not violent. I am a very sweet person. But if you talk about my mama, then you'll get the violence, okay? That's the only thing. Leave my mama out of it. All racial jokes aside, that's just what I didn't like that Skipper did. I mean, I also don't like the fact that we gotta be real, playing with Dylan's emotions, but Dylan also has to back off. But I just did not like her saying that Tay Tay was a mean girl and was attacking her. Like, just don't say that. Listen, if you don't know this, let me just school you real quick. You're a person with a lighter complexion, right? And you are dealing with someone who has a darker complexion. Buzzwords to not use: aggressive, attacking, I don't feel safe. I have no idea what people with a darker complexion deal with, how we have to fight that stigma, not only in the rest of the world, but also within our communities. And I'm saying darker complected people or people with darker skin just because I now know through, just growth and maturity and diversifying my community, that colorism is not just something that Black people deal with. So, I have Desi friends who I talk to about that. I have a really close friend that we're trying to work on something because we both deal with the same thing within our communities. And, enough of me getting deep. I just didn't like that. And you have to be very careful with that, Skipper, because it could turn a different way. It really, really could. Thankfully, Tay Tay handled it in a really mature way. You know what I mean? She spoke to her. She let her know as a friend how she felt. And then she got up and left. And Skipper started crying these tears and acting like a victim in her confessional. And I hope and pray that nobody believed that little stunt that she was pulling, because that was just Hannah trying not to take responsibility for the mess that she created. Because if you and Tay Tay are friends, why didn't you tell her about Blake? Why didn't you tell her that he was DMing you too? Because I know that Tay Tay probably said something to Skipper about Blake pursuing her. Why didn't you say anything? And I'm just thinking, like, I would never want my friend to do that to me. Like, if we're friends and there's a guy that I like that's approaching me and trying to talk to me and trying to get with me, trying to sleep with me as Stagecoach, and you've already been out with him, why don't you say something? That's weird. And that's why it can come off as deceitful, because people are just like, why didn't you say anything? Why are you holding this back? And she makes this excuse that she's holding that because that's Blake's information. It involves you too. Something is not right. Something is going on here that is rubbing me the wrong way. And I think it's because everybody has been reaching out within this Bachelor community to find out who was going to be on Paradise and trying to craft storylines, and something in the water ain't clean. There's something going on here, and I think it's because people tried to make stuff happen and then they got to Paradise and it didn't work out the way that they intended. because it's getting messy, and then every episode, a little bit more tea comes out about what happened when the cameras weren't rolling or before Paradise. And that's the problem. Too much stuff has happened before Paradise. Now we get in Paradise and it's all confusing. Caelynn keeps on saying that she moved on from Blake, but she keeps on talking about him. She has not stopped talking about him. She's in her confessional and she's just like, I'm ready to move on from that Blake drama again. This is like the 4th time that you have said that you are ready to move on from that Blake drama. You are not ready. That's the problem. That is the problem, Caelynn. It's not going to work out with any guy in Paradise because you are still sprung on Blake. You approached this dude and said you just want to have sex and that's it. You got that hammer and you lost your mind, and now you're embarrassed because you're fiending over something that you said you really didn't want. Now you got it and you can't get enough, and you don't know how to tell this dude that because you didn't establish that it was just sex. So he was moving like it was just sex, and now he done moved on to what he really want, and you don't know what to do. That is the problem. Caelynn told this dude that it was nothing but sex. It was not a big deal. They were just friends or whatever. It was this, I'm going to come over, I'm going to hit it, and I'm going to go. Your feelings got hurt when you got it and you liked it, and then he was DMing Hannah. But what was he supposed to do? If there was something more going on, it seems like, because she even said that. She said that more was going on with the two of them. I think they were just doing lustful flirting. And, you know, we've all done it. You know what I mean? With somebody that you just probably want to get up under, but not really be in a relationship with. And I think that's what happened. She just wanted to get up under Blake because apparently he's been giving his hammer out to everybody and all the women are talking about it. I just watched this freaking show and they're talking about it, and now I'm curious. That's what happened. He had sex with one person and the girl was just like, girl, I had that hammer and I can't think. It's that delicious. And all the other girls are like, what? Let me try it. Then they get in on it. Then this one get on it. Then this one get on it. And now everybody is crazy over Blake's hammer. I don't know. Yep. Because it's just so many women are just in a tizzy. Not before they had sex with him, after. After they sleep with this dude, they can't get enough. I just want to know. Also, Caelynn is talking about how she's ready for a new guy to come to Paradise so that she can build something. I'm like, what happened with her and Mike? Why hasn't that been talked about? Then my baby Dean enters Paradise serving hot homeless realness. Literally. He's literally living in a van and he showers in lakes. Like, what? I just can't believe this is him, and this mustache. I hate the mustache, but he's still attractive and he knows it. Because as soon as he comes into Paradise, all of the girls are going crazy. All of the ladies are swooning over him, just like they did when Big Mike entered into Paradise. And now Caelynn is trying to get with Dean. What, Caelynn? Are you the female version of Blake? Something is up. Something is up. It's too much that has happened outside of this show that is not making sense in Paradise. Now, I will say this. Christina was being messy when she was talking about Caelynn right in front of Caelynn, but she was not slut shaming. And that is one of my issues with Caelynn. She puts a lot of explosive labels on people when they do something to her that she does not like. So she throws out a label that will get everybody to rally around her because it's slut shaming, or it's this guy that had sex with you and made you feel dirty and told you were a mistake. All things that probably didn't happen, right? But she does that because when you say those things, everybody just wants to run to protect you. Nobody cares about what has happened after that because you put a label on there that makes everybody act. Christina wasn't slut shaming you, honey. She was being messy and she was being shady because you and her have both got the hammer and y'all are both crazy. So you're going after each other instead of going after Blake like women need to do. Dean is not in Paradise for love. Dean is in Paradise because he needs this check. He's talking about how he's unemployed, how he's living in a van, and how he wants to do all of these things and travel the world. You can't travel the world in a van with no money. I know there are people who write blogs about it. They are lying. They come from wealth. They are lying to you to say, oh my goodness, I traveled the world with $12. They're lying. They're rich kids. Dean needs this money. So he came to Paradise with a check, went after Caelynn. Caelynn is mesmerized by him, but even on this date, he's not even trying. Dean is not even trying. That confirms for me that he is just here for the money. Dean was done with the whole Bachelor world. Like, he said he would never do any of this again. Then he quit his job and he got in the van and he realized he needs money to do what he wants to do. So this is the only reason why I think he's here. I don't think that Dean is here for love. Not at all. Demi, I hope that you have a dynamite skincare routine because, baby, the way you come at people's age, first of all, honey, you are destined to age like an avocado, and you are so quick with the lip to come after somebody's age, honey. When you hit 30, you're going to look like the Crypt Keeper. You need to mind your business and shut your mouth. So High Waters Christian comes into paradise, and he is hot for Nicole. Hot for Nicole. All of these men are hot for Nicole. I am so confused. You know what? To hell with hot girl summer. It is corny girl summer. Because Nicole is living her best life. Corny and all. She's getting all of these dudes. I'm so confused by this. But you know what? I am happy for her because she's so elated that she's getting this attention, which leads me to believe that she's not used to this. And I'm happy that she's getting this attention. I hope that she does not make the wrong decision and pick the wrong guy because she's so happy that an even more popular guy in Bachelor Nation is interested in her. That's my only thing. I'm glad she's getting this attention. I'm glad she's having so much fun. I just hope she doesn't make the wrong decision because of this attention. And you know what? I bet you that Angela is watching this show and getting her life that Clay is being played to death by Nicole. Nicole! He dumped Angela, guys. Angela. Another thing that I found so funny is that everybody keeps on saying that Nicole and Christian have a connection. I think they just don't want to say that they're both Latin, so of course it's going to work. Nobody wants to say that, but it's clear that the connection that they think that they have is at the fact that they're both Latin, which is so shallow. I get it, right? Culture. Which is probably why a lot of people shipped Anya and Mike, except for the black people. Like, we knew that they weren't going to work, right? But I understand the similarities in culture and people being attracted to that. But every time somebody was like, oh yeah, they definitely are going to have a connection, I'm just like, just say that they're Latin, guys. It's so obvious. Christian is smooth, right? But I knew something was up with him. I knew something was not quite right with him because even on the date, like, he was very smooth with Nicole, but he was so sure, and it went into like arrogant cockiness. It was no longer attractive, and Nicole was eating it up. But I think she saw later in the day when he was very confrontational with Clay that something was not quite right with him. But again, she didn't say anything because she likes the attention. Because even when she came back from the date with Christian, Clay ran right up to her and he was like, hola, like he was trying. You know what I mean? He was trying to throw that Latin flavor on her since he knew that that was something that Christian was able to like grab her in with. He was trying to tap it in that to be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I like your culture as well. It didn't work. Nicole was like still like enamored by Christian. And then we have this moment later in the day where Christian tries to take Nicole from Clay. And I was actually into Christian and Nicole as well because I felt like Christian had something that Nicole desired, and that is for somebody to pursue her. Clay doesn't pursue because he's not used to that. People just look at him and, you know, panties drop, basically. So he's probably not used to that. And so having someone who desires that, not being into him, is kind of throwing this dude off. So she's making him work, which is what you need to do in relationships. And maybe that's what happened with Clay and Angela. She probably didn't have to pursue her. She probably saw him and just zoned right in on him, and he didn't have to do any work, but he got to work with Nicole. So I think that Nicole saw in Christian what she wants out of Clay. I think she wants Clay, but she also wants Clay to pursue her like Christian pursues her. So she's attracted to that. But I think when Christian was just, because this is the thing, Christian doesn't have an in-between. It's 0 to 100 real quick. And I think that Nicole started to see that and kind of started to sour on him. At least that's my hope. That's why I said before, I don't want her to make the wrong decision because she's so hungry for this attention and she doesn't want to let it go. So she makes the wrong decision with the wrong guy because she's thirsting over the attention that these men are giving her. Before I wrap this up, can we talk about the couples that came together at the end of this episode? Mike and Sydney came out of nowhere. I think that Mike was, again, doing the most to just stay in paradise. I don't think he was really into Sydney. If he was into Sydney, Mike would have went after Sydney. When I talk about Mike doing the most, it's on his date with Sydney. He's sitting here saying all this stuff, these rehearsed lines that he said to Caelynn, that he was saying to Hannah Beast. It's just like, I feel like he's constantly auditioning and not really here to find love. I think he wants that big role in the end, and I get it and I understand, but I just hate the fact that I can always see this dude auditioning. This is what I like about you. You're so great. You're so... Like, next thing you know, he's going to be telling her that she makes him smile and he can't stop smiling. I hated that part. It was so forced and just... bleh. So Demi finally tells Derek that she does have feelings for a woman back home. And can I just say, when she said that to Derek, I felt like homeboy stopped breathing. Like, how are you supposed to respond to that? I think if Demi said that she was dating a guy, casually dating a guy back home, he would have a different reaction. But I think he realized that he was on TV and he can't have the reaction that he probably would normally have. It probably would not be interpreted correctly. He just took his time to think about it and respond, but he was definitely shocked and thrown for a loop. And can I just say, Demi, I get that you're dealing with a lot, right? But it's unfair to be casually dating someone and coming to paradise. If there are people in paradise who are actually single and looking for love or just something, looking for a partner, looking for a romance, who knows? And you come here after you've casually dated someone. And to be quite honest with you, it's not that casual if you can't get this girl off your brain. I just don't think it's fair to the people who are here with no strings attached. So at first, I wasn't here for Tay Tay and JPJ, right? But he won me over. I just felt like they were just such an odd couple. But the way John Paul Jones talks about Tay Tay, who wouldn't want that? The dude is smitten with her. He is like head over heels in infatuation with Tay Tay. I was going to say love, but I'm like, it's probably too soon. But you never know. These Bachelor people fall hard and fast. But I just love the way he was talking about her. When I first saw it, I was just like, oh, hell no. I am not here for this, Tay Tay. This is awkward. I felt like she was trying to force it so that she could stay in paradise a little longer. But just to see how he talks about her, I feel like if I wasn't into John Paul Jones, which I'm not, great guy, but, you know, just not for me. If he pursued me like that, I probably would, you know, fall in love. He was so smitten. Oh, my gosh. I tried to be cute with my little sequins turban, but it's getting hot under here, baby, and I feel like my braids are lifting. Let me wrap this up. But I can see myself falling for a guy who will woo me like that. See, Dylan needs to learn. John Paul Jones is not smothering Tay Tay. He's just adoring her. You know what I mean? He's adoring, he's admiring her, but he's giving her some room to breathe. You know what I mean? He does special things for her, but he doesn't cloud her. He allows her to still have fun and still be around other people. I can't believe that she started off as like this hot commodity in paradise, and then it just became about Nicole. Corny girl summer. You know what? Maybe I need to start shopping at Spiegel and wearing espadrilles. Maybe if I do that, I'll have men fighting over me on a freaking beach. I cannot believe that that Bachelor in Paradise fight was about Nicole. Nicole of all people. So we have this setup where Crazy Christian, he's like uber macho. That's unattractive. He sets up this whole piñata date for Nicole. Cute, right? She loves the attention. Everybody in paradise is forcing Clay to go over there and like make a scene, like get his girl back. Clay listens to this foolishness and goes over there and tries to confront Christian and get Nicole to walk away with him. But Clay isn't that guy. He's a gentleman. He's a classy guy. He does not do that. So he tries to get her back. Christian makes it uncomfortable, so he walks away. Not because he was afraid of Christian, but because he didn't want Nicole to feel uncomfortable. So then Jordan goes over there to like antagonize Christian in Jordan's way. I don't think that Jordan thought that Christian would react like that, but this is why you can't play with people, because you don't know which reaction you're going to get. Jordan is pumped up because Clay has walked back and he's just like, this Adonis dude didn't go after this guy. I have to do it now to at least look like something to Nicole, because there's one rose from Nicole up for grab. So Jordan goes over there. He goes after them piñata. Hot-head Christian yanks it from him before he can get it. Next thing you know, Jordan is flipping Christian on the ground, and then we get to be continued. Guys, I would have never thought that that fight was not only happening with Christian and Jordan, but it was about Nicole. I would have never thought that. And speaking of Nicole, In this moment, I was just like, you know what, Clay? You're too good for her. You're too good for her. Because Nicole was over there like encouraging Clay to go after Christian. And I'm like, did you not hear what Clay said to you? After he had that confrontation with Christian the first time, he was like, I'm all jittery, you know what I mean? And I knew exactly what that meant. Clay is a nice guy. He is a gentleman. He is classy. He don't get in the mess. But please don't take his kindness for weakness, because Clay knows that if he wanted to, he can crush Christian just like this and not feel a thing. This dude is a football player. They train them to be rugged and, dare I say, violent. He has control over that. So he did not want to do that because that's not who he is. And everybody in Paradise, even Nicole, who he is interested in, is hyping this dude up to go after this guy. And now I'm like, what happens if he does go after him and he harms him? Then what? Like, don't push this dude to do something that you're not prepared to handle. Nicole wants him to go after Christian so he can show her that he's a macho guy. Baby, you don't know what kind of macho this man is. I know. I see it in him. I see it in him. And he even said, you don't want to poke the bear. And I believe him. Do not mess with Clay. Yes, he got a Kermit the Frog voice. Yes, he is very kind and he is very quiet. But baby, please believe that when he lets out the rage that he is holding in, ain't nobody in Paradise safe. And I don't want that. I don't want that for him. And I don't want him to be with somebody who wants him to get outside of himself to show her that he's worthy of her. Excuse me, Nicole? Excuse me? I don't like get angry and show me that you're a man. What? So ignorant. So ignorant. And I'm glad that Clay kept his composure. Anyway, guys, it is late as hell. I got to get to bed. I have an audition and I'm messing up my hair under this sequins turban. I tried to be extra because it's a new format, but I think this format might change because I feel like this is longer than the one I was doing before. But I know y'all love my long videos. So anyway, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you guys next week for the following episode of Bachelor in Paradise. Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Love ya. Bye.